Hello everybody, welcome to my Sunday Live on December the 10th already. So we're a third of the way through the month, and as I said in my invitation, I fancy doing a fancy or a fun card, a fold card, whatever you'd like to call it. And since it's a while since I did a card for a fella, I thought I would do a fella themed card, and that was partly inspired by this paper pack here. It's called Let's Go Fishing, and I've had it in my stash. It's in the annual catalogue, but I've had it in my stash for a few months now, and I've not actually used any of it. So I thought, okay, well, let's go ahead and break the seal. And so you can see, I mean, it's got fishing, and then it's got more of a generic pattern on the back here, sort of a ginghamy looking, looks a bit like a tablecloth to me. Okay, and then we've got flies, fishing flies, some nice diagonal stripes, and then some colourful fishing flies. And this is quite a nice pattern on the back, I like that one. And wavy water by the look of it, and I'm not quite sure, it looks like a bit like a hop sack there. And then fishing poles, and what looks like to be like netting that you catch for fish. So that's what we're going to work with today. And I also pulled out this gorgeous paper. I did use it a few weeks ago. It's called Oxidized Copper, and I thought that this particular one, rather than the bluey one, would go nicely with the fish. Checking on the back, I can see that the colours in this paper are boho blue, calypso coral, misty moonlight. So I've pulled a few colours out to work with, and I can see you there. Myrtle. Oh, a rainy Pennsylvania. Well, we've got brilliant sunshine here in North Texas. It's what my dad would call the skies a gin clear. Not even, I think I can see a wispy cloud if I look outside. Well, thank you for joining me today. You struggle with making cards for fellas and me. It's mainly because, you know, I'm what's known as an ingenue, which is I love things that are sparkly, and it's often difficult to try and do sparkly for fellas. And so this is where this particular card or paper I think is going to help me out. So if anyone else is out there, maybe you just go ahead, let me know you're there in the live chat, and then we can chat back and forward. And as always with my lives, I start with an idea. I don't know if the idea is going to work. We'll work through it as we go. And I also love it if you joined in. So any suggestions you might have as we work our way through, I would surely welcome. Oh, and Sue, my friend Sue, who lives a few miles up the road from me here in North Texas. She's joined me as well. She made it, she says. Okay, so we're going to go fancy fold for fellas, and we'll see what we can get out of it. So the colours that I thought I would use are these two. And so I've got Misty Moonlight and boho blue, because both of those are actually in this paper, along with Mossy Meadow, Pebbled Path, Petal Pink. Oh, I guess this might be Petal Pink, but I don't think I'm going to use Petal Pink for my fella card. Although I'm sure there are ladies, fisher ladies out there that would appreciate a card, in which case you could take this idea if it works, and just sort of change out the colours a little bit more feminine, and create this card. Right. So we're going to start with a card base, and I'm going to start with the Misty Moonlight. I've got the boho blue, but we'll go with the Misty Moonlight, see where we go from here. And I think I only need one sheet. I've gone a bit crazy here with paper. So we're just going to start with a straightforward card base. Nothing too fancy there, I hear you say, but hey, we'll see where we go. And I'm going to score. So all I've done is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm just going to score at 4 1/4. Make sure I got the right one. A couple of times when I've been doing my lives, I've grabbed the cutting blade instead of the scoring blade. So there's my card base. So there's a good start straight away. But as I said, nothing too fancy. So what did go through my mind was maybe some multiple flaps. And that way I thought if I had multiple flaps, I could use both of these papers to really sort of shine or show off on, rather than sort of maybe cover one up with the other. Right. So if I'm going to do multiple flaps, I need to get my ruler out. So let's see if we've got some scraps that we could just play with a minute. Of course, we never got the scraps that we're hoping for. Okay, so if I did, I know that's a bit big. Ooh, I must have prepped that for something. It's got score lines on it. Okay, so if I did multiple flaps, I'd have to have sort of one going in like that. And where would I put the other one? Where would I put the other one? Okay. I'm going to cut this in half. Well, I just had a thought. Right. Now then. This now is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that will fit in to a regular envelope like that. Okay. And I'm thinking if I've got flaps, I can have a flap coming in from this side and a flap coming in from that side. Right, so let's build on that idea a bit more. Now, so I've got to decide on flap size. And I also want to think about making sure that I use my cardstock wisely. So let's think. So if I was to do like 3.5, that would kind of go over there. Okay, so right, I'm going to do like a 3.5 inch square, but I need to make sure that so what did I say, 3.5? If I cut a piece 3.5, let's cut a strip 3.5. Okay, so that's going to go like that, but I need some way of attaching it. Right, I need a little flap, so that's 3.5. If I cut this piece in half, that gives me 4 1/4, so that gives me like 1/2 of a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to score this at 3/4. And then I can attach that like that. And it shows a bit of ugly, but hey, maybe I can attach it like that. Any suggestions? Any suggestions? Okay, so there's one flap. So we're going to see, I'm going to do another flap back in this, and I'm wondering if I can use this bit I cut off rather than waste it. The score line is still, the score line is still there, so I need to take that score line off. There we go. So that's not pretty. Now if I do like this, this needs to be smaller than that piece. So I made this bit 3.5 inch square. So if I make that a 3 inch square plus 3/4 of an inch, so that's 3 3/4. So I make it a 3 inch square that way, and 3 plus 3/4 of an inch is 3 3/4. And then if I put a 3/4 inch score line, the second way. How do you mean? This way? Myrtle? Like that. Okay. It takes a few minutes for moments for any comments to come through. So that's what I mean by a double flap. Hopefully that's making sense. All right. And what am I going to do to the back? But I need something in the front, don't I? I wonder if I should use some cardstock here. Oh, you've got it like that. Is that what you're saying? Perfect. Okay, that works for me. And you can see that's been quite simple so far. Just a couple of score lines. All right, let's see what we've got now. Right. Now, let's see. So, which paper shall I use? Shall I use the real fishy looking one? There's that muted one. I think I need to use something with the blue in it. Otherwise it's going to look a bit out. So there's the flies. You could put the fold front on the base. Okay, that is a great idea. So this is the wavy one. Oh, and there's blue fishies. Okay, so should we go for, what did I do with the card? Okay, so I'm thinking about putting, okay, shall I do the blue fishies? Or should I do the multicolored fishies? So oh, the flies. Okay, the flies, let's see. It would have to be like the multicolored flies. Otherwise, I think that the blue would kind of get lost if I just use the monochromatic ones there. Okay, so flies. All right, so let's go for the multicolored flies. See what we've got. So now, let's see. Right, so if this is 3.5, and I want 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch border on all sides, I'm going to do this at 3.25. And the good thing about this paper is it hasn't got a direction. Look at that, that's brilliant. So it doesn't, you don't have to worry about making sure that you cut it in the right way, which is always good in my book. I don't always want to. Okay, so are you liking that, Myrtle? Oh, you've got blue fish now. Well, I tell you what, let's, okay. So this one has a direction, but since it's a square, I think we're going to be okay. Let's see. So 3.25. Okay, so this is going to be a real luxurious card, because if we put a piece on the outside, and then a piece on the inside, so that when we open it like that, you've got that piece inside. So that looks really rich. Okay. Now I've got this piece, and I want to use this. This is what I want to use now. Because we've got to have some bling if it's to work for me. It looks like I got a few scraps. So this was 3 inches. So if I want 1/8 of an inch, I've got to cut this at 2 3/4. Oh, lucky me. There's actually a piece 2 3/4 here. Well, just a merest snodge over 2 3/4 on one side. And I mean, literally, look, that's the tiny little shimmy piece that I cut off. Okay, looking good with both pieces. Yes, thank you, Sue. And Myrtle, great use of the yes. I mean, it's only a small piece of decorative paper. However, if you're using several pieces, it allows you to showcase the options. So we're going to do the same thing here. I want to put a piece on the inside. So should we just match it up with the blue fish, or shall we use the oh, I've just dropped it. Hold on. Shall we use the blue fish, or shall we use the flies again? So where's my fishing flies? So I suppose, well, which should I use on there? Give me a thought. The bling paper would do awesome. Yeah, I think that gives me my shine without it being too overwhelming. Right. So Sue says we're going to do with the flies. Okay, so that was like 2 3/4. So we'll cut this piece 2 3/4. There we go. By 2 3/4. Right. I think I'm done with cutting for the minute. All right, so let's see what we've got. I've got lots of pieces that need to be organised. So we said those pieces are going to go there, like that, and these pieces are going to go like that. Fish on the outside or hooks on the outside on that one. Let's go for an idea. So, right, you suggested, Myrtle, that we would stick these inside. So let's see how that's going to work. Now, because I got these flappy pieces, I'm going to use my double-sided tape because it's going to ask an awful lot of regular adhesive if it's going to be sort of opened and closed an awful lot. Now I have a nephew whose birthday is the 18th of December, and I think he always gets, obviously his immediate family, don't forget about it, but it gets overlooked. And I know Sue has a grandson who has a birthday in December, and when they're littlies, I think that they're not going to get overlooked quite so much. But as they grow older, I think their birthday month tends to get lost in all the Christmas celebrations. And then I also have my stepson whose birthday is in early January. Now I know he won't be watching this. Why would he? So maybe this will end up in the post for him. Because actually he does like to fish. Now then, if I stick this here, then I need to have something to cover up. So I'm thinking I ought really to have, I can either do vanilla or, shall I do vanilla? I could put a vanilla piece in there. Let's get some vanilla out. I say vanilla because this paper is vanilla, it's not white. Can you see? Whereas if I put it up against, that envelope, you can see it's vanilla. So I'm gonna put my white envelope away. What have you all been saying? Right. So again, we're gonna go with 1/8 of an inch border. So I'm going to cut this piece 5 1/4 by 4. Let's see what that brings us. So that would go in there like that. I've just had a thought. Maybe I should stick these on here, and then that would give me a bit of a border around the outside. How's my thinking going? And since I've already put the tape on there, okay, let's see what we can do. What have I done with my tool? There it is. Actually, I need to start with the big one, don't I? I think I need to start with the big one, Sind. So, right, let's do this. Oh, we're going to turn it around the other way. I'm so glad I didn't stick my decorative paper down. Let's make sure that this works. Right, so we're going to put it on the back and center it up as best as possible. Maybe I should put those both to one side. Let's just do, I suppose I could use the measurements here, but right. Okay, so there's my one flappy piece, and now this one I can center it up on here. So, okay, this is going to be a bit like rubbing your tummy and patting your head, because I need to make sure that it's centered on this piece as well as lined up on that edge. Okay, right, think I did it. Now I can attach it to here. Oh, so it's whether it opens like that or like that. And I have a feeling that most people are likely to go open it. Are they going to open it like that? Open this bit first and then that bit. I think it's going to need to go like that. Right. And I'm going to use double-sided tape again, just to make sure that it's well adhered. Right. How am I doing for time? Oh, not bad. Right, let's go and get this stuck down. So do you think this is a card, Myrtle, that you would perhaps do for guys? I think sometimes with fella cards, it needs to have a little bit of like engineering on it, you know, because I think it's more the construction that would interest them. Small flaps on top, okay. Thank you, Sue. Yeah, I think it's more the construction that attracts fellas to cards rather than, you know, the decoration. I think that's what okay. Yeah, you could emboss the vanilla, but I'm thinking that that's where I'm going to be writing my "To You, Love From Me" in there. I think that looks a bit plain, doesn't it? All right, let's get these pieces on, and then we've got all those wrangled. So we said that we would do the little fishies inside. Yes, you definitely do this. Right, so the measurements are very straightforward. 5.5 by 4 1/4 for your base, and then 2 pieces. Yes, then your 2 pieces, and you can decide really how big you want your flaps to be, as long as you add like a 3/4 or maybe an inch, just to be able to pop it underneath your card. And then we'll put this piece. Now, yes, you're right, Mert, that's exactly where I want to sort of write my there. And that gives a nice contrast, doesn't it? That gives a really nice contrast there. But I'm a bit concerned that it's a bit plain. It's probably a bit too late to put a strip of paper, but let's see if we can do that. Because I had a little, got my little scraps over here. So I'm wondering whether or not to put a little, it's a bit late now because I've stuck it down, a strip top and bottom. What do you think? I'll let you get back to me on that while we just put something on the front. Now, because there's such a lot of other things going on here, oh dear, this is clanking. I decided that I would just use a simple greeting. So my go-to greet, I love this stamp set. And I'm going to use a happy birthday, and I'm going the fish are upside down. Oh. All right. Well, maybe I need to send it to someone in Australia then, because then that'll be the right way up. Oh, that is so funny. Okay. Oh dear, what a nerd. All right, so I got a couple of punches out. So I've got this quite fancy one, which might look quite nice on the top, and then sort of a more plain one. And I'm thinking maybe the plainer one would be better for a fella. Oh, I can't. I can't believe I did that. Oh dear. Right. Oh dear. Right, let's see. So some of these I've used on another project. So let's see. I need a happy birthday that will fit into there, and that will. So that's good. So oh dear, that's going to take me a while to live down, isn't it, Sue? Oh dear. Right. Ooh, that's not very dark. Maybe I need to reduce up my little, let's flip it over and try again. Oh darn, now I've got a halo. Okay, so that's really thrown me off, Sue. That's really thrown me. Can't even stamp now. Right. Okay, so we went for the plainer one. Right, so it looks a bit lost in that big one. So I'm going to do the same little technique that I did a few weeks ago. I'm just going to put that in. And just, oh, have that like that. Right. And just make a smaller version. You can see I've just got a smaller version of it there. And I also pulled out this. And the reason I pulled it out was it's got a dotty stamp, which I think can help. And it's also got this one here, these grasses. And I'm wondering whether or not to just fill in some empty space. I'm just ferreting around for a block here. Let's see, what are we saying? Oh, you get halos all the time. Yeah. I think it's because I pressed it too quickly, too harshly into the ink pad. So this is wild wheat. It's not a colour that I fell in love with when it first came out, but it's one of those things that's growing on me. So I'm gonna stamp off a couple of times and just see what I like with that. And I don't like that at all. Not at all. Okay, back to the drawing board, and right, let's get rid of this spare piece here. Yeah, I think it is when you press too hard that you can get the halos. I think I've done a bit of a better job this time, but I think I need to re-ink my pad. And I think if I make this label a little bit smaller, go on, in you come. Maybe if I make this a little bit smaller, then it won't look sort of not in too much card and not enough stamping. Maybe a bit of this blue. How am I doing? Maybe do the dots. Maybe do the dots in blue. Oh, okay. Let's see what it would look like if I did the dots in blue. Right, I just need to clean this off so I don't get my ink pad all goobered up with the wrong colour. Let's see. I tell you what, I'm going to, where's the blue? There it is. I'm going to just test it so I don't goober up. Oh, stamp off. Still not sure. I am still not sure. But since I've got less, card, maybe I'll just leave it plain and take a bit of this blue off of here. Oh. There we go. In you go, my beauty. There we go. Maybe that's better. What else have we got? Just the blue background, Sue reckons. Like that, I reckon. Okay. Get rid of that, don't like that. And I'm just thinking about doing those strips. So I'm just going to cut 3/8 inches that's not 3/8. This will be. Right. So wish me luck getting this lined up. So just a snodge under 4. Just the tiniest, weeniest, merest piece under 4. Right, let's see what we've got going on here. Right, I think that adds, should I put a second piece down? Should I put one on the bottom here? What do you think? Yeah, I think the dots were too much as well, Sue. So if we do this piece, just the tiniest hair under 4, and see if I can get this piece on. Ideally, I would have preferred to have put these strips on before I stuck the vanilla piece down, but it wasn't until I started looking at this that I thought it probably needed something extra. So we've got happy birthday there, and I found some manly bluey sorts of colours, and I found this. I don't know whether, so I've got the boho blue there. Let's see. Oh, yes. I think it kind of just pulls everything together, doesn't it, Sue, with those strips? So I could put, what do you think? Now this is looking a bit plain. So I could put maybe around there, or I've got some ribbon that I could tie a knot to as well, like that. There's this, which is like a crumb cake, and then I think this will be too big, and it's the wrong brown. Yeah, so we'll dislodge with that one. So which looks great, Myrtle? You think with the twine or one of the ribbons? Do you think the twine looks more like a fella, or should I use the ribbons? What does anybody think for that one? I'm going to put, while you share your view, I am going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of my greeting and pop it there. And I also got some, if you like, manly looking decorations. They've got, here's some, these are the blue, that's the in colour blue, boho blue. String is more fishy. Okay, Sue. And there's the rustic dots, they might be, and then there's some black and white and cream ones there, and then there's some of these. So let's get all of that out of the way, and then bring this in. And tie a knot. Oh, phooey foo. Oh, I think I might be all right. Yes. and just leave it like that. I don't want a bow. I think I prefer 2 stripes around there. I think it looks a bit more generous than a single piece. Now I've got to do that, wrestle with that other piece of twine again and keep my finger on the knot. Right, that's better. I think I like that. I think I like the double bit better. Okay, let's see. Twine. Okay, so we're all together on the twine. And I'm quite liking the idea of these sort of rustic things. They've got some nice little tiny ones that we could make it look more like a label. And I didn't use this stamp set after all of that. Literally did 1 stamp. I do like those grasses though. But I think it would be overkill if I put any grasses in there now that I've got... I did think maybe to put the grasses inside, but with these extra pieces of decorative paper, I think we've got enough going on. So what do you think? I think I quite like that card. I think I do. So if I was to do an envelope, maybe, I'm determined to use it, aren't I? I could just use it because you know you get grasses along the side of riverbanks when when you go fishing, and I can't think of anything else to put on my envelope. And I do like to have something on my envelope. I don't like to send out plain envelopes. So there we go. I used it in the end. Less is more, yes. Good template, yeah, to use your decorative paper, yes. And I think any of those papers in there, Sue, would have worked. So there we go. Despite the fact it's got upside down flying fish. I can't believe I did that. And then we've got some subtle bling, but a fancy fold, but definitely a masculine card. Okay, well, I do hope that you have enjoyed designing this card with me today. And as I say, a fun fold, but not ever so complicated. It won't lie down. Lie down, lie down, lie down. I haven't got anything to... Oh, I know what I could quickly... No, I can't do that. No, just a sec. I'm trying to get that little flap to stay flat, but it won't. So I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Okay. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed designing the card with me. And I certainly love the fact that you joined in. If you've enjoyed it, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, perhaps you'll do that and share my video. And I will be back next week That will be my last live for December, because I won't be doing one on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. So join me then next Sunday, and we'll work some ideas through, unless you've got some suggestions that you'd like to see me do, in which case you can always put them in the comments below this video once the live has finished. Okay, well, thanks once again, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye for now.